Good afternoon. Let me just make sure I'm going live here. And it looks like we are good. So good afternoon. Whoa. Are we moving here? Let me see. Yeah, okay. Looks like we're live. Good afternoon. Carol Buckalew with Inky Stampers. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I just quickly, while I was hitting the live button, grabbed some glue because I may need it. I think my bottle's almost out. So just wanted to be prepared. So good afternoon. I have a fun fold card for you today. And I don't have a name for this fun fold. I just kind of winged it. All the measurements will be on my blog tomorrow. But I use the Lasting Joy stamp set. And I also use the Countryside In 12 by 12 Designer Series paper. So this paper goes with the Country Corners. Sorry, I was off screen there. The Country Corner suite of products. And just lovely, lovely blues together. But the Lasting Joy stamp set is you'll find this stamp set. Hey, Faith, thanks so much for joining. You will find this stamp set on the page right after the Countryside Suite Collection. Countryside Corner Suite Collection. I'll get the name right here in a minute. And you'll find this stamp set on the very next page in the annual catalog that just came out. And it has all of these sweet little flowers and kind of greenery images. And these images are not part of this suite. This stamp set's not part of the suite. However, these little flowers go perfectly with the Countryside Corners products and the paper. They match just perfectly. And they also have some really great sentiments that you can kind of mix and match, and great sentiments for both the outside and the inside of the card. So just wanted to mention that about this stamp set. And I also used a little bit of the Soft Shimmer 12 by 12 specialty paper. And I don't know, you can kind of see it on the camera there, but it does indeed have a little bit of shimmer. And the colors included in this pack are Berry Burst, Bubble Bath, Lost Lagoon, Night of Navy, and Pretty Peacock. So I just wanted to share that with you real quick here, the products used. I love all the blues too, Faith. I think they're just so lovely. So the card that I created here today has a ribbon tie closure. And I'm just going to go ahead and slip that off. So in lieu of a belly band, I went with a ribbon for this card. And then we have just a very simple adorned circle here on the front of the card with some little banners kind of crisscrossed there underneath. And so the small card on the front opens up with a little sentiment inside. And I've decorated here with some stamping. And then if you open the main card up, there is an additional sentiment with some more stamping. So lots of flower stamping on this card. So the small card on the outside says, "I'm so thankful for you," on the inside. So I thought that was kind of sweet. And then, of course, the envelope is decorated with some more flowers and some of the Designer Series paper from the Countryside In paper. So let's get started because I think this stamping might take me a little bit. There's quite a bit of flower stamping here. I'm going to go ahead and just, whoops, I'm getting ahead of myself already here. So I'm going to use my Banner's Pick-a-Punch to punch out some banner ends here on some little thin strips. These strips are 3 inches by 3/8. And these are going to be my little banners that sit underneath the circle on the front of the card. So I'm using my Banner's Pick-a-Punch, which has 2 different ends. And when you're opening these punches, it is best to kind of squeeze towards where the latch is and, you know, hold it together, open the latch, and then let it go. You can actually really mess these punches up if you don't open them properly. So just wanted to share that. So I'm going to use the banner end on this stamp. It's kind of reflecting there, sorry. But the banner end, I'm going to turn it over so I can see what I'm doing here. And I'm going to go ahead and just slip my little strip in there. And what I am doing is allowing this strip to butt up against the metal on the inside there of the punch. And I'm going to go ahead and punch that end and flip it around. And when I'm putting the strip in here, I am centering it. There are grooves on this punch, but because my strip is 3/8 of an inch, it's a little bit smaller, so it does shift around in that groove. So I'm just kind of guiding it. So that is my first banner. And I'll go ahead and get the next one cut. Just lining it up, making sure it's centered. And we'll do the opposite side here. But, I mean, who doesn't love a punch, right? Because they just are so useful. They make our job so easy. There we go, got that punched out. And I'm gonna squeeze my punch shut and then put the latch back to lock it. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my circle punch and unlatch that. And I want to punch a 2-inch circle from white cardstock. And there we go. Squeeze it, hold it closed, and then lock it. And that's how easy the punches are. I'm trying to decide here. I think maybe I'll go ahead and get all of my stamping done first. So let me just grab my pieces here. And then of course I've got an envelope here to stamp as well. And I am gonna have to refer to my card because I kind of did each one of these differently rather than making each piece look the same as far as where our flowers were positioned. I decided that I would just kind of mix it up and make it a little organic. So that's what we're gonna do. But while I am, before I start the stamping, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just glue up these little pieces of shimmer paper, my banners, just because I wanna give them a little extra time to dry. And I'm just putting a little dot of glue there in the center of one and laying them over top of each other and just making sure that they're kind of even. And it looks like they are. And I'm just going to set those aside to dry. Just want to give them a chance to set up. I am going to start off with boho blue ink. And I'm using the boho blue for this larger flower from the, let's see, I've already forgotten the name. From the Lost in Joy stamp set. Good grief. And I am going to go ahead and stamp this in the center of my circle. That's going to adorn the front of the card. Yeah, I really don't know what the name of this stamp set might be called. I really don't. I tried to kind of look for an example out on YouTube. I couldn't really find anything. So, yeah, I have no idea. And I'm going to go ahead and while I have this ink out, I'm just going to go ahead and stamp all of these boho blue flowers. And I'm not, doing complete images. I'm stamping off here a bit. There we go. And let me do, I'm going to wait, I think, on this panel. Well, you know what? No. Yeah, I think I'm going to wait on that panel. Let me go ahead and get this one done though. I am just going to close this up here momentarily. And then I've got Night of Navy ink. And let me go ahead and get my sentiment stamped. So this first sentiment is I'm so thankful, and that's going to go on the smaller card base. And let me just line this up here so I can get it somewhat straight. And I'm going to stamp that right in the middle of this smaller card, because you're really not going to write very much here on this small card. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp my For You sentiment, also in Night of Navy. And this one I am going to stamp here. Let me see here. Get this lined up somewhat. I'm using my grid paper to get this lined up as best I can here. I'm going to stamp this one just a little ways down. There we go. That is our sentiment. So those are done. I'm going to close this Night of Navy ink up just for a second, because Night of Navy, I usually get all over me. I'm checking my hands. I don't have it on me yet. Now I can go ahead and get the boho blue flower stamped on this panel. That will be on the large card base. So again, boho blue. And this is such a beautiful, beautiful blue. I just love this blue. Wasn't sure I was going to like it, but I really do. It's just so beautiful. And I'm just stamping kind of opposite sides here of that sentiment. And that does it for our large flower. So I am done. Oh, no, I'm not. Let me do the envelope. So Faith, I was on the deck this morning, and this bird made this noise, this really loud noise. It actually made me jump. I had to laugh at myself. But this bird was, we have a redbud tree in our backyard that is kind of on the side of the deck. And it has a lot of, you know, branches that really make the tree full. You know, it's full of leaves. So it's a really good cover for birds. I've sighted birds I don't usually get to see in that tree. So it's just kind of a neat spot to sit in the morning or evening, you know, and just kind of watch out for the wildlife, right? And so this bird, you know, he made this really loud noise, made me jump, and I saw him, and I think it was a red-bellied woodpecker. Not a red-headed woodpecker, but a red-bellied woodpecker. He did have red on top of his head, and he was so pretty. He was rather large, maybe the size of a blue jay. At first, I thought it was a blue jay, because they can be really obnoxious sometimes and make loud noises. But now it was a woodpecker, and he was really beautiful. So I was happy I got to see him. All right, I'm kind of flip-flopping here back and forth between my panels. This is my inside panel again. And I'm just going to go ahead and stamp some wild wheat and this little, and I just got ink on the side of my stamp. Let me clean that off before I get it on my card. See, that's what happens when you start talking. We don't keep a bird feeder up. Well, that's not true. We have a bird feeder. I have a window bird feeder in front of my craft desk. And so we get birds that come there, and we usually only get, as far as songbirds, we only get, what are they called? House finches. They'll come to the bird feeder, but then the sparrows and the grackles and all that come too, and empty out the bird feeder. So, but because of the dogs, you know, we don't want them getting any seed off the ground. It would not be good for them. We have fed birds in the past, and I like to put suet up. That seems to be a little bit better and less messy, and it doesn't leave all the debris around that the dogs might, you know, get into. So that's what we do. But yeah, I was just really happy to see that that woodpecker. They're pretty birds. And he was a rather large one. We also have the really large woodpeckers, the pileated woodpeckers in our area. Although I've never seen any around the house. They generally will stay to the woods, you know, but they're large birds. They're really big. And they make a racket and a half, I'll tell you. All right, I'm just stamping in my wild wheat on my panels here. Let me go ahead and get this big panel stamped. And I'm just kind of, you know, this is kind of random, but I am turning my stamp here. Make it somewhat symmetrical. Oh, that didn't stamp right. Let me see if I can fix it. I'm going to have to probably get my head here. Oh, goodness. Let's see if oh, I got lucky. And I just got wild wheat over there. You know what? I'm not going to be concerned about it. I wonder where it is on me, though. Okay, now I have a little tiny flower center for our large flowers. And I forgot my envelope already. Let me get that. So I told you there was a lot of stamping and might go over just a minute or two, unfortunately, just because there is so much stamping. But let me get my little greenery here stamped on my envelope. There we go. All right, I think I'm done with that stamp. Now I've got a small flower center, and I'm going to make that wild wheat, and that will get stamped in the center of all of my blue flowers. Whoops. On all my panels. And then I can close this ink up. Yeah, but I'm kind of an avid bird watcher. I really love watching the birds. And I saw, I've only one time have I seen waxwings. They tend to stay high in the trees, you know, so you don't usually get to see them. And I think they must have been migrating, and they all landed in that redbud tree. So I got to see a whole bunch of them, which was really lots of fun. Let me clean this stamp off, because I'm going to need this small block here to get my next little flower mounted. Wild wheat has a lot of green in it, and I can tell you that because I've got it on my foam and it looks green. So yes, it does. I agree. It does make nice, very nice leaves. And if you got the paper pumpkin kit for May, the flowers on the scenes on those cards in the paper pumpkin kit were stamped in wild wheat. So that was really fun. Right here. Now I'm coming back in with Night of Navy, and I'm going to go ahead and just stamp some little flowers here around my sentiment on my inside panel of the large card base, and just decorate it up here. That one, and we'll do the small panel. And like I mentioned, you know, I did not necessarily, this was all kind of organic, the stamping of the flowers. but it makes for a really pretty panel. Very pretty. And let's just get a couple little flowers here stamped on the envelope. There we go. Okay. And I think we are done with all the stamping. Faith, appreciate you joining me today. Very quiet with our fearless leaders on their cruise. It's just been very quiet. But it looks like they are having just a ton of fun. So I'm happy for them that they're having such a good time. It looks really beautiful too. They're on a cruise in Norway. So how fun is that? All right, I'm going to go ahead and start putting my card together. And I'm going to do one card base at a time here. So this is the smaller card base that will get attached to the card front of the larger base. And I've got a piece of DSP here. So this small card base measures 6.5 inches by 4.5 inches, and it is scored at 3 1/4. And then my DSP for the front of this card will cover the entire front, and that is measuring 4.5 by 3 1/4. So go ahead and get this. Oh, they didn't get to leave the ship today. Oh, I didn't see that post. I've been busy doing some other things. Oh, that's a shame. That's really a shame. Maybe rough seas. I guess when you go to Norway, you could expect that, huh? And so when I put this piece of DSP on this card front, I'm looking to center it right to left, but I'm also putting my hands up here along the crease line because I don't want that DSP to go above that line. And I think I'm good here. And then I think, yep. So I don't know if you can see it or not, but that's why I wanted to line it up along the fold, right? So that if any excess was hanging over, I can go ahead and just trim this with my paper snips. And that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. And just trim that up real quick. So we've got a nice clean card here. There we go. And just get rid of that. Very good. So that is our card front. And I'm going to go ahead and mat up the inside panel here. Oh, no, they didn't. Oh, they were so looking forward to that chocolate. Oh, that is a shame. Oh, darn. Well, stuff happens, right? You got to make the best of it. But I saw that they were on bumper cars and they were up in some contraption off the top of the ship, 300 feet in the air. That looked like a lot of fun. Get some nice views. So that was a whole lot of fun. Okay. I've got this matted up to a piece of boho blue, and I'm going to go ahead and get this put inside of our small card base. And I see somebody else might have joined. Pop in and say hello. Go ahead and get this mounted up. There we go. So our little card base is done for the front of the card. And I'll go ahead and get the DSP mounted onto the larger card base. Yeah, they were so looking forward to that chocolate. That is truly a shame. I mean, because you can get really good chocolate there. Alrighty. So that's why I like glue. Give myself just a tad of wiggle room there. Okay, there we go. And then this is the mat for my inside panel. Hey, Tara Beth. Oh, thank you so much. Faith was just saying that I guess they had bad weather. Maybe you heard that already on the ship. That our fearless leaders are on, and they didn't get to go ashore and get their chocolate that they were looking forward to. That is such a shame. Okay, and this panel I'm matting up to a piece of Night of Navy. This is the Lasting Joy stamp set, Tara. That's right behind, in the catalog, right behind the Countryside Corners suite of products. It's the very next page. And these flowers go perfectly with the flowers in the Designer Series paper, the Countryside Inn Designer Series paper. Speaking of Designer Series paper, Stampin' Up! is putting select papers on sale beginning June 1st through June 30th, 15% off select papers. You can grab those details on my blog today, and I'll continue to post it for, you know, for a good while. But inkybeestampers.com. I've got a rubber eraser here. I've got a little bit of glue, and if you don't have a rubber eraser in your arsenal, get one. They are great to lift up little glue smudges. So there we go. All right. I am going to go ahead and put some glue on the back of my small card base. I know, that's a good sale on paper, I think. 15% off is nice. And if you want to join right now, you know, you can add that paper to your starter kit. Which is awesome. I am just going to kind of line up my, so I am adhering this small card base to my larger card base, and I'm trying to get it as even as possible. If it's not perfect, that's okay, but I do want to try at least to get it somewhat even. Let me move it over just a scotch. The little flowers in this print, if you can see them, actually help you line it up somewhat. There we go. Okay. Oh, you know what? I forgot to stamp the rest of my flowers around here. Well, let me get that done. And I am going to run over a few minutes here. My apologies. So I'm getting my wild wheat back out, and this is my little greenery stamp. And you know what? I want to stamp my little flower first here. That will help guide me. So, Night of Navy. I meant to look and I forgot. It's an online exclusive, but one of the papers is an online exclusive, that really pretty paper, and I can't remember what it's called for the life of me right now. I need to get some more of that because I'm out. And I'm just kind of randomly stamping this this little Night of Navy flower around my circle. Some of those stampings are off the edge of the cardstock. That's all right. Intentional. And then I'm going to come back with my little flower sprig and just fill in the spaces around those Night of Navy flowers. And again, this is just a simple circle, 2-inch circle, stamped out with the 2-inch circle punch. Let me get this one turned this way. And I just want to make sure that kind of looks even. It does. And I've got an ink mess here, so let me get that cleaned off before I... Yeah, I thought I saw it on the list too, Tara. It's got the pretty Lost Lagoon and pretty peacock in it, so I definitely want to get some more of that. It's just so beautiful. Stampin' Up! Paper is such a value. It really is. You get a lot of paper, I think, for the price. And, you know, it just makes sense to stock up on it. So I had previously glued my little banners here together. I'm going to go ahead and put some more glue on these and get these glued to my card front. And I want to put them right about there. So this is for a sketch challenge for the Happy Inkin' Thursday blog hop, which is tomorrow. If you visit my blog tomorrow, you'll find links that will take you all around the blog hop, so you can visit everybody's visit everybody's site and get inspired. See what they've created for the hop with the sketch challenge. And I'm just going to pop this circle onto the front of my card with with some Stampin' Dimensionals. I cut my Stampin' Dimensionals in half. I find that they fit better in small spaces. Not to mention that they, conserve dimensionals. And I'm going to kind of avoid that center section. I think I've got enough. I think it'll be fine here. Let me just get my covers off and get this popped onto the front of the card. Yeah, I like to see everybody's creations too, Faith. They come up with some really great stuff. Tara included. Tara, you make beautiful cards. And just trying to center that over my little banners. And then let me see here. What do I have left to do? I need to glue up my envelope, and then we'll decorate the front of the card, and we'll be done. And my bottle of glue lasted. So that's good. Oh, I hate Facebook. I think my screen just froze. Yeah, I think my screen froze. Not sure. Okay, I think maybe we're back. I don't know if it froze on your end, but it sure did on mine. I had a pop-up, and I think maybe that's what froze it. I use Microsoft on my laptop, and OneDrive gives you all these reminders, and it is so annoying, and I haven't been able to figure out how to turn off the reminders, but it pops up these little windows all the time, and it's kind of annoying. All right, just getting my, oh, okay, it didn't freeze on your end. That's really strange. Might be my internet then. Just going to go ahead and give this a trim, and almost done here. Thanks for hanging with me. I go a little slow cutting around these envelope flaps, and I really think it's because I'm losing dexterity in my hands. I've got some arthritis, I get a little carpal tunnel, and it's problematic sometimes. Makes me a little slower on stuff like that. Let me see here, what do I need to do? All right. Let me, these are the 2023-2025 in colored dots. I'm just going to grab one of these Buckalew blue dots in the medium sized, if I can. There we go. And that is going in the center of my flower on the small circle here on the card front. And then I have some balmy blue and white variegated ribbon here. And I am just going to take a length of this, and in lieu of a belly band, this is my card closure. Let me just grab my ribbon scissors here. And I'm just going to, make sure I have enough here. I know it might seem wasteful, but I need to be able to grab that ribbon to tie a bow if I'm going to do any kind of a decent job at it. And I'm trying to tie this rather tight, and I'll show you what I did to the other ribbon. Whoops, let me try again. Lost my grip on it. Nothing like trying to tie a bow on a live video. There we go. Okay. So I want this bow rather loose, and I'm looking for my bow ends here. And actually, they are just about perfect. Just give it a small trim. There we go. But what I did with the other ribbon was I grabbed the bands that are wrapped around the card and pulled those just a little apart. That makes this ribbon loose enough to slide back on and off if you want to do that. And I did double check. This card will fit nicely in its envelope, so there's no worries there. There are some extra layers, so extra postage will most likely be required because you are dealing with two card bases that are matted. But yeah, that's my card for today. So we have I'm So Thankful, and then you open up the larger card base for you. And I thought those little tiny flowers from the Lasting Joy set just really made it pretty with this designer series paper. That's all I have for today. I want to thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, thank you, Terry. I appreciate it. And you all have a great rest of the day. And I'll see you next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for joining. Take care. Bye-bye.